Summer-like heat is going to set new high temperature records this weekend all along the coast, and there's concern from the North American Electric Reliability Corporation that some parts of the country could experience blackouts this summer because of the heat. What can you tell us about this, Scott?
It's pretty likely that there are going to be power outages across a large part of the country this year, and it's not just, in one specific area. We're talking because of the power grid and the way it's set up, it could be big cities and several states that are going to be impacted by this summer. NERC, which is in charge of maintaining a reliable level of power across the grid, says the predicted above normal temperatures and the mega drought gripping the western U.S. will create high peak demands and forced outages. The drought is going to create problems out of power generation due to the hydroelectric dams across the western U.S. Some dams have already had to be taken offline last year due to water reservoirs levels dropping so low. And already this year, those reservoirs are at critical levels, so it could happen again. The National Weather Service Climate Prediction Center released its summer outlook yesterday, and it supports the warnings about electricity. This summer, almost the entire country can expect above normal temperatures, especially the western U.S., which is only going to add to the drought problems out there at the hydro plants. The higher temperatures will push up power demands in major cities. Adding to the problem, some key transmission lines have not been rebuilt after being damaged by storms. And then you've got the older fossil fuel plants that have been taken offline. Basically, everything west of the Mississippi River is at risk of an elevated risk of not having enough power during peak times this summer. But the highest risk includes all of the entire state of Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Iowa, Indiana, and most of Illinois, Arkansas, and Louisiana. So right there, just kind of think of the Mississippi River and look up and down. They're at the highest risk. I spoke with energy officials when I was out in San Antonio earlier this week, and they all say the national grid has to be completely reworked because it's broken into these chunks. It's not completely tied together, and it's also based on old fossil fuel technology and not these. Remember that giant battery I was in front of that you can store energy and move it quickly? Those aren't all tied in, and when that does and that gets moved into the grid, it'll relieve some of these problems. But we're going to see some power outages this summer.
Which is interesting that we're talking about the high temperatures here. I mean, we just got done with the winter storm crisis in Texas that really strained the power grid there. That was chaotic.
Yeah, and it was pretty much the same thing, hot and cold. But there what happened is a lot of the things froze, and they couldn't warm them back up. They couldn't get a lot of the power generation back on in time. Now it's just going to be peak demand because everyone's cranking up their air conditioners all summer long. And these two reports timed perfectly because the National Weather Service said, yeah, it's going to be hotter than normal. So bad timing this year.
No kidding. All right, Scott, thank you. Yep.